back to Hot Roster today, the last looks, and it's the last look at this show for today and the week because it is the final segment. We are talking some NHL available to you on HotRoster.com. Again, you can play this online. You can play on your Android phone. You can play on your iPhone. Download this app and play some Hot Roster. Play the Power Play card. There are 9 matchups on this card. 3 games in the NHL tonight, Cam. So you know what that means? We got a lot of over-unders.
We do.
And we got a lot of head-to-heads with guys on the same
That's
team.
the toughest. The teammate battles are tough.
Really tough. Actually, we'll get to it in a second. We got a rematch of one of these matchups we broke down last week. So we'll start with Patrick Kane, though. Over-under 5 fantasy points for Patrick Kane going up against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Kane did not start this season well. Obviously, we're dealing with small sample sizes here, but no points in his first 2 games.
Now
6 points in his last 2 games. 4 points against Philadelphia. 1 goal, 3 assists the last time he took the ice. So, Cam, over under 5 points for Patty Kane.
Keep climbing. I might be crazy though, Gary. It almost seems too good to be true. 6 points. The guy's a +4. Patrick Kane's doing it all. You're right. Slow start, but now that is the real Patrick Kane. He's a monster too. Power play time, shots. He does everything well. It's almost like I feel like it's almost too good to be true. Then I get scared. I could see him getting 7 or 8. He gets 1 point plus some shots. He'll probably get over the number. Kane.
I feel like Patrick Kane's one of those guys. If you're going to give me an over-under with Patrick Kane, the number's going to be hovering around 4 to 5.
Yeah,
the only way I'm
over.
ever going to say under is if he's playing like, I don't know, Nashville or like just like a stalwart defensive
Columbus
team.
has given up 9 goals in 2 games, too.
9 goals in 2 games. They've given up 75 shots in 2 games. That's 37.5 shots per game. That's second in the NHL. Kane's going to get like 6 of those. That's 3 free points.
We're over.
We're already more than halfway there. Let's go over with Patrick Kane. John Tavares, over under 4 points. Tavares gets the Arizona Coyotes on a back-to-back tonight. Tavares, in his last 3 seasons, has been top 25 in points per 60 minutes. This guy can score, has yet to do it so far this season, though. So, Cam, does he turn it around tonight against the Coyotes?
I think so. Arizona got shelled. You know, the Montreal Canadiens were laying the rubber to Domingue. And I'll tell you, Domingue, Tavares, 2 points in 4 games. He's a -1 player. But we talk about Arizona on the back-to-back, Aaron, and that's the key. These big players, when they start off slow, it's usually, you know, a feel-good game at home, a come-around game. And I'll tell you, 4 is a low number. Johnny, you got to love the guy. It's one of those things, the numbers tell you no, but I believe in a lot of overs tonight. Give me John Tavares, 6+ points on Hot Roster. Over.
Well, I mentioned how many shots Columbus has been getting up so far this season, that they're
How's
second
Arizona
in the
doing?
league. Arizona is the worst in the league. 38.3
Oh.
shots on goal for their opponents per game so far this season. And also, Tavares, weird sort of case this season. He's not been good. He's a -1 in plus-minus, even though his offensive zone start percentage is up at 81.6%. This guy's started a lot of his shifts in the offensive zone and somehow has not scored goals, has given up goals. I think that turns around
Six
tonight.
penalty minutes, too. He's frustrated.
Yeah, he's getting a little feisty.
Get
We
some
like
more
that.
points.
We'll take those free points on Hot Roster. I'm going over the number as well. We talk about Arizona being on a back-to-back. I think that might be the key factor in our next matchup, Max Domi against Shane Doan. Max Domi, for those keeping score at home, is nearly half the age of Shane Doan. If you're giving me a 21-year-old against a 40-year-old in a back-to-back, I'm going to close my eyes and just take the 21-year-old.
Yeah, no, Gary, it's one of those things, like I was waiting for you to really break it down physics style. Like
we could do it a little bit later.
Yeah. You know what? I'm old too. You know, we get beat down on back-to-backs, sometimes getting up in the morning, oh, my back hurts. Shane Doan obviously is a supreme athlete. But the thing I love, Garyan style, 4 more minutes of power play time. Domi gets more ice time, he gets more power play time, and when you're looking at guys who have relative numbers, you have to look at the intangibles. My boy Garyan will tell you, I love Max Domi in this life. Hey, I love Shane Doan like a fine wine. He seems to get better with age, but it's Domi for me. I'll take the younger kid.
They've had considerable time off between games so far this season. Only played 3 so far, and already Domi, as you were saying, is playing 4 more minutes a game than Shane Doan. You got to feel like that number only gets bigger on a back-to-back, so you got to give me the ice time with this one. I'm with Cam. Max Domi. I mentioned the rematch that we have from a matchup we saw on the power play card last week. Philip Forsberg against James Neal. Cam correctly pointed out that James Neal would win that matchup that night against the Blackhawks, with James Neal mixing it up, getting a little fisticuffs, and that's the 5 penalty minutes he has so far this season. Nashville has not scored many goals so far this year, but these 2 players, the most ice time of any forward on Nashville, 1 and 2. Neal 1, Forsberg 2. It's tough to differentiate these guys, but you have to, Cam.
Yeah.
Give me a guy.
The only difference is Forsberg, he gets his points and he got them on the power play, so you get the bonus points on HotRoster. The one other thing, though, Neil, I like him. He's shooting the puck a lot more, and you get the points for those shots. I think Garian's going to disagree with me on this one. It's kind of like the roulette wheel. I took Neil before. I'm going back to my boy Neil. I have a feeling you might be going with Mr. Forsberg.
I wanted to go with Philip Forsberg. I think he's the more offensively inclined player. I think he's the better player on offense. But you know what? 12 shots to 5, as you were talking about. I got to go with James Neal in this one. Before we get out of here, Pekka Rinne, the goalie in said game. Over under 4.5. Will he go over the number? As we talked about, Cam, this is basically he's going to win the game.
Keep climbing. I love Hey, Rene's firing back. Small sample size. 57 of 61 saves. He's eating rubber this year. You also have Nashville against the Detroit Red Wings. Pekka Rinne, like him old self, got to believe he gets the win. That's good enough for me. Over.
He's got to get the win, because I'll say one thing about Detroit. If you're thinking that Pekka Rinne can accumulate points here on HotRoster through Detroit piling up the shots, you are incorrect, sir, because Detroit, among the many teams in the NHL so far this season who have played 4 games, have taken the fewest shots on goal. Pekka Rinne's got to win this game. I think Nashville wins this game. For Cam Stewart, I'm Gary Thorne. Play the Power Play card tonight on HotRoster.com. If not, wait till Sunday. Play one of the various cards they have for you there, or just come back next week. Watch a little HotRoster today.